Welcome back, everyone. In today's lecture, we'll continue with Chapter 3 and be focusing on physical activity trends, the guidelines, and their broader implications for both youth and adults. We'll explore 4 key areas, looking at the physical activity guidelines for the different age groups, as well as current fitness levels among children, youth, and adults, and the implications of the physical activity movement, as well as emerging trends in fitness. Really understanding these topics is crucial for anyone entering into the field of kinesiology and this profession. Here we go. Despite the growing number of men and women of all ages engaging in sports and fitness, data still shows a sobering reality. Many children and adults are living sedentary lives. This contradiction is important. It suggests that although interest in fitness is increasing, it isn't translating into consistent, widespread behavior change. In response, several national reports have emerged to provide guidance. The Surgeon General's vision for a healthy and fit nation in 2010 focused on making physical activity a national priority. The physical activity guidelines for Americans in 2018 offered a clear science-based recommendation for all age groups, and the U.S. National Physical Activity Plan of 2016 emphasized coordinated efforts across sectors like schools, workplaces, healthcare, and transportation to increase physical activity. These documents are crucial not just for policy, but for shaping how we educate, coach, and build environments that support active lifestyles. Let's talk about some foundational principles when it comes to promoting physical activity. People of all ages benefit from being active, whether it's a young child running on a playground, a teen involved in sports, or an adult walking daily to maintain mobility. Even moderate physical activity done regularly, like brisk walking, light cycling, or recreational swimming, can lead to substantial health improvements. For greater benefits, individuals can increase the duration, frequency, or intensity of their physical activity. This is where we start to see improvements in cardiovascular fitness, muscular strength, and body composition. And finally, the most important part, choose activities that you enjoy. Enjoyment leads to consistency, and consistency is key to long-term health. Whether it's dancing, hiking, or playing pickleball, it all counts. Let's look specifically at the physical activity recommendations for children and adolescents ages 6 to 17. These guidelines are crucial for supporting healthy growth and development. Children need at least 60 minutes of moderate physical activity daily. This can include activities like brisk walking, playing tag, or riding a bike. On at least 3 days a week, you should participate in vigorous intensity activities, thinking running, competitive sports, or fast-paced swimming. Also, at least 3 days per week, they should include muscle strengthening activities such as climbing, push-ups, or using resistance bands, and activities like jump rope or gymnastics. These activities don't have to be structured workouts. In fact, many can happen through play and recreation. The key is that they're age appropriate, enjoyable, and varied. The physical activity guidelines are developed to promote health and prevent disease, and it varies by age group, but generally recommended adults aged 18 to 64 should get at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity aerobic activity per week. They should also incorporate muscle strengthening activities at least twice a week. So ask yourself, are you meeting these guidelines? And what barriers might others face? If we look at youth fitness, sit-ups like the ones shown in this image are a common assessment tool. But how fit are our youth? The 2017 Youth Risk Behavior Surveillance System, or YRBSS, revealed that Many children are not achieving adequate levels of physical activity. Factors include screen time, lack of physical education, and safety concerns in communities. The decline in youth fitness has long-term implications of public health. Consider, what are schools and communities doing to counter this trend? So the Youth Risk Behavior Surveillance System is a national survey of 15,000 students, revealed key insights into youth physical activity and sedentary behaviors. 46.5% of students were physically active for at least 60 minutes per day on 5 or more days of the past 7 days. 15.4% did not engage in 60 minutes of physical activity on any day during the past week. And 43% played video or computer games on a regular basis, while 20.7% watched 3 or more hours of television per day. So we also have to look at adults. How many adults are physically active on a regular basis? And what can be done to increase the number of adults who incorporate physical activity into their lifestyle? According to national data, only 23.2% of adults engage in regular physical activity during their leisure time. That's fewer than 1 in 4 adults. Men tend to be slightly more active than women when it comes to leisure time activity, but here's where it gets more complex. Participation in leisure time physical activity differs significantly based on education level, income, and race or ethnicity. Higher education and income levels are associated with higher participation in physical activity. In terms of race and ethnicity, non-Hispanic white adults report higher levels of physical activity compared to non-Hispanic Black and Hispanic adults. These disparities remind us that promoting physical activity isn't just about motivation, it's about access, resources, cultural relevance, and education. Now let's look at the implications of the role of schools and communities in shaping healthy, active lifestyles. First, our school-based programs must do more than just offer physical activity. They must teach skills for lifetime participation like goal setting, teamwork, and movement literacy. When students understand how and why to stay active, they're more likely to carry those habits into adulthood. And just as importantly, schools and community programs should be aligned and coordinated. This means consistent messaging, shared resources, and supportive environments both during and outside of school hours. The goal is to create a culture where physical activity is valued, accessible, and sustainable, not just a class period or a seasonal program. Other implications for at-risk youth: programs tailored towards this group can do so much more than improve physical fitness. They can increase overall well-being and help youth build self-esteem and teach essential life skills such as goal setting, planning and organization, and values development. Learning what it means to commit, persevere, and work as a team. These are transferable skills that go beyond sport, but we must also acknowledge the inequities that exist. Many youth face barriers tied to poverty, safety, access, and systemic bias. As future professionals, whether you're working in education, public health, coaching, or policy, you must understand these inequities, the strong emotions they evoke, and most importantly, how to respond with empathy and evidence-based strategies. Remember, it's not just about creating programs, it's also about creating opportunity. So we must expand public sector opportunities for physical activity and make them accessible to all socioeconomic groups. Right now, too many programs are geographically, financially, or culturally out of reach for the very people who could benefit the most. That's why we need culturally competent professionals, leaders who can design and implement programs that are respectful of and responsive to the needs, traditions, and values of diverse communities, such as racial and ethnic minorities, women and girls, older adults, and low-income population. Inclusivity is not a trend, it's a moral imperative and a professional responsibility. Whether you become a coach, educator, trainer, or advocate, you have a role to play in ensuring every person has a chance to live an active, healthy life. regardless of background or income. The fitness and physical activity movement has led to widespread changes in healthcare, education, and corporate wellness programs. Its implications include increased public health messaging, integration of fitness into school curricula and workplace policies, a booming fitness industry from apps to boutique gyms, but it's not all positive. Some messaging can create guilt rather than motivation, and access to facilities still varies widely. Some current trends worth noting include the rise of wearable tech like smartwatches, group fitness classes and virtual platforms, emphasis on mental health through movement such as yoga and walking meditation. These trends are shaping how people view health. In summary, as future professionals, you will work with individuals who come from very different social identities, backgrounds, and lived experiences than your own. To serve them effectively, you'll need to demonstrate cultural competency, the ability to understand, respect, and respond to cultural differences. But cultural competency isn't a checkbox. It requires ongoing cultural humility. That means staying open, asking questions, listening deeply, and recognizing your own biases. Socioeconomic status also plays a significant role. People with higher income often have greater access to health club memberships, fitness equipment, and wellness services. On the other hand, individuals with lower income may struggle to meet basic needs, making gym access, time for activity, or nutritious food a luxury. That's why it's essential to approach wellness programming with both empathy and equity in mind. Meet people where they are. Advocate for inclusive, accessible options in schools, communities, and workplaces. And that is all that I have for you today. I look forward to talking with you again. Have a great day.